Yo, what's going on, everyone? It's your boy DLloyd, and welcome back to another episode of our Tampa Bay Buccaneers Madden 21 Connected franchise series, of course, here in the Premier Madden League, man. So where we left off, we lost to the Minnesota Vikings. Now the Super Bowl is over, and the champions are the Buffalo Bills. Yes, they defeated the Minnesota Vikings 38-24. They are back-to-back Super Bowl champions in this league, man. Josh Allen won MVP, but when you look at the awards on the right side, we do have Offensive Rookie of the Year, Sam Howell. Now this is a nice little screen. Now I'm sure it shouldn't have taken EA this long to put a screen like this in the game, but I'm glad they did put it. It's just the small things that make things a little bit more enjoyable. So we did get an award from Sam Howell. Taking a look at the rest of the awards in depth, I do believe we got one more award. Coach of the Year, we were the runner-up. We were the runner-up for Coach of the Year, so we did not win that. In the NFC, we had nobody on the Offensive Player of the Year list at all. Defensive Player of the Year, we had Harrison Smith, who finished 4th. I believe he was 2nd before the last couple of games when we started to rest our guys. We also have, obviously, Sam Howell, Offensive Rookie of the Year. Let's look at, there we go, best quarterback. Sam Howell was 2nd in the NFC, right behind Dwayne Haskins, who is now an X Factor, which is crazy. Trying to see, man, I don't think we got anybody else. Mike Evans was 3rd on the best receiver list. Oh, Ali Marpet, there we go, best offensive lineman. Runner-up, Tristan Wirfs. So we had 2 guys there. It didn't look like it. If you watched the Vikings game, it did not look like we had 2 of the best offensive linemen in the conference, but we did. Maybe because we went against Daniel Hunter, man. Looking at the rest of the guys, Devin White was on the list for best linebackers, but he was 7th. Let's see, we had Harrison Smith 3rd on best DB. And I think that is it. So that's basically all the awards, man. I just want to show you guys quickly where we ended up when it comes to the awards. We can look at our team stats quickly as well. Sam Howell finished with 33 touchdowns, 14 interceptions on the year, completed 69% of his passes, which is very good. And when you see the rest of the guys' interceptions, I think he threw, out of the major starters, he threw the least amount of interceptions. And I want to say he finished with either the 2nd or the 3rd best quarterback rating out of like your actual starters. Mariota, though, he did good. 6 touchdowns, 1 interception on the season. That's fantastic. 78% completion rating. And then Kyle Trask, 8 for 10, 1 touchdown. Running the ball very, very even with our guys. Ronald Jones, 159 carries, 1,100 yards. Leonard Fournette had 600 yards on the ground. Both of them racking up touchdowns. Godwin had a down year, but Mike Evans definitely showed up. 71 receptions, 1,400 yards, 15 touchdowns. On the defensive side of things, Devin White had a great season with 66 solos, 112 total tackles. Levante David was right behind him with 95 total tackles. We didn't back up sacks at all. Shaq Barrett was 6. We got to figure out a way to get pressure. That is going to be something that we're going to try to emphasize. How can we get pressure and create some type of havoc? We have such a good secondary, but if we give them all the time in the world, they're going to eventually pick it apart. Speaking of secondary, Harrison Smith finished with 9 interceptions, which actually led us. Antoine Winfield, you could call it a down year, but some people just didn't test him as much, but he still finished with 7 interceptions. Sean Murphy-Bunting had 6, Jamel Dean 5, Carlton Davis with 5, Levante David, who will be losing his X Factor, he finished with 3. A ton of deflections. Winfield with 15, Carlton Davis 12, SMB 10, Jamel Dean 10, and then Devin White with 9 deflections. And then let's look at defensive touchdowns. Harrison Smith with 3, Carlton Davis 2, Jamel Dean with 2, and a lot of players with 1, man. So those were the stats. I will show you guys once again the NFL leaders in passing yards, touchdowns, interceptions. I know you guys think I throw a lot of interceptions. That is not the case at all, man. 5,400 passing yards from Josh Allen, which was on top. That's the reason why he's the MVP. Touchdowns, he also threw for 59 touchdowns. You see Haskins 46, 43 touchdowns, 39, 39, and then we get to Sam Howell at 33. Now, when you go to interceptions, you got 61 from Joe Burrow, 56 from Baker Mayfield, 52 from Jordan Love, Zach Wilson with 51, Mahomes with 51. He's going to be losing his X Factor also. You throw over 40 interceptions, you automatically lose your dev. And then if you throw over 30, if you're between 26, no, what is it? 26 years old, you throw over 30, you lose your dev. If you're 33 and older, you throw over 40, you lose your dev. So that's what it is, man. You see a lot of guys like Russell Wilson going to lose his dev. Jared Goff, a lot of guys, man. But the interceptions in this league, if you could throw under 30, I'm going to say that's a pretty solid season. As you see it, once we get under 30, is not as many quarterbacks at all. So there you go. So Sam Howell, out of the major starters, him and Herbert, they threw 14. That's the least in the league. You have Cam Newton, who didn't finish the season as a starter at all. And then other guys who just played spot minutes here and there, man. But how we're going to do this offseason, because today is Thursday when I'm recording this. The draft will be Sunday. We're going to just go through, instead of just having an overall recap, I'm just going to go through each step as it happens so you guys can kind of see my opinions, what I'm thinking live, and then we'll just merge everything together. So you're going to see me coming back on multiple days, and then we're going to merge everything into one episode. So first things first, taking a look at retirements. For our team, we had two. Old Man Joe. He's going to go ahead and retire, man. He did have an interception in his last game that he played. So congrats to Joe Hayden, an amazing career. Then we have Snacks Harrison. He is out of here as well. He actually started in the Super Bowl because we thought we needed, oh, not Super Bowl, the NFC. I wish we made the Super Bowl. He started in the NFC Championship game. We wanted his presence to help stop the run a little bit more. So, I mean, both of these guys are going to go out on a high note. We'll just go through some other names. Calais Campbell's going to retire. Everson Griffin's going to retire. Ryan Kerrigan, he's going to leave as well. Trent Williams is going to leave. I mean, really for the 49ers, they're going to lose a lot of their offensive line. You have Mike Pouncey leaving. Russell Kung leaving. Cordero Patterson is going to retire. Ndamukong Suh, who did play for us season 1, he is going to retire. Ben Roethlisberger is finally retiring. Deshaun Jackson is going to leave. Gostkowski is going to leave. I think that's pretty much... That might be all the major names, but Matt Barkley, I'm surprised he made it to 10 years, but he's going to retire right there, man. So those are the major retirements. Now, when we take a look at our guys that we need to re-sign, we don't have a lot of cap space at all. And this was basically a year where we went all in, and this is now going into season 4. It's going to be the year where we're going to have a lot of casualties because we just don't have the funds at all. So one guy that we would like to bring back is Mike Edwards. He's only looking for like $2 million a year, which is not bad. So we're gonna just offer him what he's asking for, see if he takes it. And bam, so we get him locked up, a backup. He's not going to start, but for $2 million a year, I feel comfortable if Mike Edwards has to go onto the field or something for whatever reason happens to Antoine Winfield Jr. Now Harrison Smith is the tough one because he did regress. He definitely did regress. He's looking for $8 million. We're only going to have $7 million left in cap space if we make this deal. He is still an X factor because he had enough interceptions with reinforcement, stonewall, flat zone KO. You see him, he lost 29 attributes, man. Acceleration, change of direction, speed, man coverage, tackling, pursuit. I mean, tackling went down 8. Pursuit, goes down 4. Hit power went down, but he's still a very talented player. Now, you got to take away the morale bonuses. So you're looking at his zone coverage being a 90 still with 85 speed. I think that's good. Play rec, 95. I still think that's good. Hit power is an 89. I still think that's good. So we're going to try to bring him back. We're going to offer him a little bit more just to try to make sure, because we have one chance at this, and we're not going to be able to afford a franchise tag at all. So we're going to bump this up. We're going to try to bring him in here, and hopefully he signs. We're going to go $4.5 million signing bonus, $5 million in salary. That'll take us down to $6 million in cap space. And Harrison Smith, man. That's where things get crazy, because when you go to the franchise tag, it's $21 million. We can't even afford that. So Harrison Smith is going to bounce. Harrison Smith is going to leave. We're going to allow Jarrell Casey to leave. John Simmons going to leave as well, unless we want to bring him back, because now that's going to bring us with $13 million in cap space, somewhere around there. So I think we'll try to get him back in free agency. We'll bring our punter back for $2 million. Hopefully he comes back. Oh, he's going to test free. Okay, so people people go undefeated, losing the playoffs, and they just want to leave. Like, nobody wants to come back. Dalton Schultz, we're going to allow him 3 years, 13 million. He's tripping, man. We're definitely going to allow him to leave. Anthony Nelson. I think we could bring back Alex CAPPA back at $3 million. I think that's a solid deal. Let's just move that up just a tad bit. But we're not going to try to get him nothing crazy. Let's see if he comes back. There we go. So we got Alex CAPPA back, a backup offensive lineman. But if something happens to our guys, we could plug him in, and hopefully he could do a decent job. Cam Gill, finally, contract is up, man. He's been slowly developing on our roster for a while. And that's about it. So we're going to let a lot of guys go. But the big one's going to be Harrison Smith, man. He's still an X factor. A lot of people see how well he played for us last season. So I'm sure he will be a hot commodity when it comes to free agency. But he's not going to be on our team. We don't have the money. Like I said, we're going to have those casualties along the way. So we're going to have to look in the drafts. And the guy I said we we're going to cut may not be cut, man, in Whitehead. He definitely might be back. So Sam Howell, I'm expecting him to get X Factor. Just the way our league rules are set up, I think he qualifies. So he should get X Factor with strong arms. So maybe Bazooka, something else. I don't know exactly what he's going to get, but that's definitely going to happen. We have Leonard Fournette going into the final year of his deal. So we may try to address another running back. It's not a high need at all. Like it's late in the draft or a cheap one that's young, because we have Ronald Jones, we have Leonard Fournette. Maybe get a third guy to replace Leonard Fournette once his deal is up this season, because he's starting to regress also. Mike Evans going into the last year of his deal, but he is somebody on the priority list to bring back. We have Chris Godwin. We need to do a better job of getting Godwin involved next season. Then we have Terrence Marshall. Offensive line with Darisaw, he had a solid rookie season. Hopefully we could really get him to an 80 overall this year. Ali Marpet is going to be fine. Center, offensive line I think is set. We're going to need a backup tight end. The backup OJ Howard. On the defense side of things, Levante David will lose his X factor. So he already lost. I believe Lurker is already gone. Mizone KO is going to leave. Zone Hawk's going to leave. He'll go down to star. You see his regression. He lost 29 points as well. He's truly a 79 overall. But the thing that's good with him is we did bring in Jacoby Stevens to be our sub linebacker. That's why we made that trade earlier in the year, right before the trade deadline, to get rid of Scotty Miller, to bring in a second-round pick and Jacoby Stevens, because we do have 2 second-rounders this season. So we have Jacoby Stevens with the 88 speed, 75 zone cover, so about the same as Levante David, a little bit, or definitely quicker. Hit power still at 81, tackling at a 79. So I think he's good, man. I think he's good. I think he can fill in that role pretty well. We definitely got to improve play rec and block shedding, but we can work on those things. And this is the guy I think we're going to play there. Now, Jordan Whitehead, he may have to start for us at strong safety. We were talking about possibly letting him go because he got me so mad with he's the guy that ran into the kicker in the championship game. So I was so upset about that, but he still has 85 zone coverage, 86 speed, hit power is solid. So he may be back because we already know, like we just talked about, Harrison Smith isn't going to be back, man. Antoine Winfield's in a contract year, so he's going to ask for a lot of money, but we did sign Sean Murphy, Bunting, Jamel Dean, and then obviously we have Carlson Davis signed. We're going to have to replace Jarrell Casey, but we have DJ Dale, Vita Vea, they will be back. Devin White will be back. Jabril Cox will be back. Shaq Barrett will be back. We just got to, Levante David will be back too. 1 year, $13 million left on his last year of his deal. If we need to release him, we will, but that's not really the plan right now, man. So I think that's basically it for today. Like I said, we're going to put all these other days in. We'll see. I don't know exactly what the free agent list is going to look like. We'll see exactly what it does end up looking like. But we're not going to have a ton of money at all. We're definitely going to have to get creative. But I think even in the draft, I don't know. It should tell me if you look at roster real quick before we get out of here. We have, so we picked 30, then we picked 38, 62, then 94. So yeah, we have every pick, but I don't know. I don't know. We gotta figure something out. So what do we pick? 6 in the second round. Figure something out. I'm open to trading out of the first round depending on how things go, and maybe picking up another 2, 3, just because we don't have a lot of money and we need more depth and more players to kind of fill that spot. So I'm open to doing that if possible. But we'll see what ends up happening, man. But we'll end this day, and then I'll come back and we'll start over in round 1 of free agency. So what's going on, guys? So we are now here, free agency week number 1. Like I said, we're here the next day because we had to wait for the advance and all that good stuff. So this is where we're at, right? So originally, I know I just said we are going to plan on trading our first round pick, which is pick 30, and trying to move back in the draft. Now, what we have currently is pick 30, 38, and 62. The plan was to try to move this 30th overall pick, move out of the first round, and try to get 2 second-round picks. So we will have in total of 4, maybe even a 2 and a 3, but we're trying to pick up more draft picks around there. Now, we put it on the trade block. Nobody has contacted us, so I'm not sure if there's any interest to move up to 30. But with that said, we did get a pretty crazy offer that we're going to consider. Now, the guy wants pick 62, right? He also wants 2 players, but he is offering the 7th overall pick and pick 42. So essentially we can move up to 7 in the first round and then move up to pick 42 from 62 in the second round. But what do we have to give up to get it? Well, he's asking for Jabril Cox. Now, Jabril Cox is a monster in my opinion. He was one of our first round picks a few years back. I wouldn't say it hasn't panned out for him because he has played well. Now, the problem with Jabril Cox is when we drafted him, we were trying to switch from a 3-4 to a 4-3. We have since went back to a 3-4. So he is a 78 overall run stopper, but only a 72 speed rusher. When you look at him, he's really not built to be a pass rusher. 87 speed, which is great. Block shedding, which is great when you're trying to stop the run. Tackling is solid. Play rec is solid. Zone coverage is okay. But 68 power moves, 66 finesse moves, he's not getting off. You know, he has spin move, but he's not getting off blocks when it comes to rushing the passer. So really not the best there, but he has played solid for us with 7 TFLs last season, only 1 sack. Now, he only plays in our base 3-4 defense. So when we go to nickel, he comes out of the game. When we go to the dime, he comes out of the game. So those stats to only be in 1 formation is pretty solid. So the guy wants that, which will make sense, especially if you're going to a 4-3 team. He's also looking for Jacoby Stevens. Now, we traded Scotty Miller for what ended up being pick 38 and Jacoby Stevens. Now, the guy, the reason why we went after him is because he meets the criteria. He's over 225 pounds, so he could play sub linebacker, and he has over 80 hit power, so he could play that linebacker position. The goal was to put him in as sub linebacker. So Levante David, he will stay in when we go to when we're in the 3-4. When we go to nickel and dime, Jacoby Stevens will then come in the game. The 88 speed, the 74, 75 because of the morale, zone coverage, tackling is solid, hit power for his size and for his position, very solid. Man coverage isn't the best, block shedding isn't the best, but 71 catching, that was the initial plan. But we are considering moving Cox and Jacoby Stevens to get the 7th overall pick and pick 42. So we'll see if we end up doing that, but that is clearly the thought right now. Now, when it comes to free agency, we just don't have money. So $21 million in cap space. The rookie reserve is $8.8 million. So we don't have a lot of money at all when it comes there. So what we're probably going to do is sit out week 1 of free agency. So this is where we're at right now. You have Keenan Allen, who got an offer from the LA Chargers. Then you have Cooper Kupp, who's got one from the Cincinnati Bengals. Harrison Smith, our guy. Remember, he rejected our deal. Now, I thought about trying to go ahead and bring him back, but even when you look at it and you go to 1-year deal, remember, we only got $12 million available. So you go 1-year deal, even if you give him $10 million, let's say. Give him $10 million for 1 season. You see right there, we're still below the Cincinnati Bengals. So we're going to go ahead and withdraw that. Not worry about it right now. Now, you see the top bids and how they're green? The way our league is set up, you cannot offer a yellow or a red bid until week 3, stage 3 of free agency. So I think we're going to sit out for now and then wait and get some guys cheaper. Now, I will tell you some of the guys that we are looking at. As you see some of the top guys right there, bringing back. We need a left end. We are going to try to bring back John Simon, who we had last season. We have DJ Dale, but when we go to our nickel, like I said, we moved DJ Dale to defensive tackle. Want to try to bring him back 1 year, $3 million. Not that bad, but we could probably get him cheaper. I don't think a lot of teams are looking out for him. That's an option when we get to stage 3. Also, Jarrell Casey could be an option. He wants $7 million. I'm cool with giving him like 5. We'll see how that goes. Now, if we do get the 7th overall pick, then we'll probably try to go after a defensive end at that point, man. But those are pretty much the main guys we are looking at. There's also Kawan Short, but it looks like he may be on the way to New York, which means we probably won't get him. So we'll miss out on those guys. Those are the guys that we're kind of looking at right now. Those are the main need guys. When we take a look at free agency in general, the guys that we're probably not going to get, just so you guys can see, Gardner Minshew, 87 overall, the top free agent available. You have Devin McCourty, who's now 36, Micah Hyde, Justin Coleman, Chandler Jones, who has a lot of interest right there, Kenyon Drake, Duke Johnson, Aaron Rodgers, who is a free agent, and he's only down to star now, losing his dev from X Factor down to just star. Von Bell. So you have some talent. Le'Veon Bell is out there. James Conner is out there. But like I said, Cam Newton is out there. We're just going to hold off for now. We'll see. You know, next week we'll get the combine grades, which will help us out a lot. Then we'll also, you know, be able to see where players go. Hopefully by the time we advance and I come back tomorrow, we'll also know if I traded to get that 7th overall pick or not, man. So that's it for right now. We'll come back tomorrow and we'll see how free agency week 1 goes, because we're not going to place any bids. All right, guys, so we are back, man. We finished the draft and everything. It really wasn't, you know, too eventful. So I figured we're just going to come back and show you guys our roster, and I'll explain to you some of the moves that we end up making, because in free agency, we did not sign a single person. Remember, we did not have that much cap space. We did not sign a single person. The trade that we had with Jacoby Stevens and Jabril Cox for the 7th overall pick, that fell through. That actually was a trade we could not make because Jacoby Stevens was still on the no trade list. So we had to kind of compromise and make other adjustments. So we came into the draft with no first-round picks. However, we did have 4 second-round draft picks. So the quarterback position, we did not do anything different. We still returning Sam Howell. Kyle Trask is back. Marcus Mariota is back. Now at the running back position, you see Bijan Robinson out of Texas. This is the guy that we drafted with our first second-round pick, man. So out of Texas, man, 6 foot, 222-pound running back, 21 years old. One of the best running backs in the history of Arizona coming out of high school, man. And you see 91 speed. The acceleration is solid as well. 91 agility, solid. Change of direction could be a little improved, but trucking 80 already. Break tackling and 82 already. I like what this kid has to offer. Like I said, he's only 21 years old. So he is young. He could definitely develop. Now, the reasoning behind going after Bijan Robinson is because Leonard Fournette is starting to regress somewhat. Now, 88 overall still. He's still going to be getting in the game. 92 speed, 91 break tackling, 94 trucking, right? More of our power guy, but he's starting to, you know, come down a little bit, get that regression, and he only has 1 year left on his contract, which means that will free up space, you know, for us to re-sign some other guys if we allow him to walk at the end of this season. And I think that's what we're doing, unless he wants way less than, I believe, the $8 million that we're paying him this season. So that was the reasoning behind going after Bijan Robinson. We also snagged Eric Gray in the 7th round. Wasn't a lot of thought there, just maybe another guy who could potentially hit, another guy who's more of a speed guy. At least I thought he was more of a speed guy. He came in with 90 speed, 81 break tackling, man. So those are the 2 running backs that we addressed. Now, with those 2, or with the 4 second-round picks, like I said, one of them went to Bijan Robinson. Eric Gray was a 7th round pick. We ended up trading away one of our second-round picks to get a first-round pick from the Cleveland Browns next season. So we did move up a little bit there in the draft, which was great for us. At the wide receiver position, we got Nakua, but he was an undrafted guy that we did sign after the draft. He might make the practice squad. I'm not sure if he'll be on the active roster, man. That was a guy, like I said, we just signed. Mike Evans, you guys already know his contract is up this season, so we're going to have to try to bring him back. But we have Chris Godwin back. We have Terrace Marshall Jr. back. At the tight end position, we did go ahead and snag Austin Stogner. I believe we got him in the 3rd. round. Yeah, so he was our 3rd round pick, Austin Stogner there, man. So he's a guy that hopefully could compete with Braden Galloway to get minutes at the tight end position. Really don't have a firm number 2. We know OJ Howard is the guy, but the number 2 guys, I don't know yet. I don't know who's going to end up, you know, being that guy. We're going to see how preseason finishes up for us. But as of right now, man, I mean, he's a little bit of a better blocker than Braden Galloway. Braden Galloway is a little bit quicker. I don't know between those 2, man, but that's where one of our 3rd round picks went. Our offensive line, I think, is shaping up to look, you know, pretty solid for us, which is definitely a good thing. We did get Matthew Bergeron, I believe how you say it, but it was just nobody there in the draft that could really improve anything at all. So we decided to hold off on that. Now, we did sign Kobe Wooden, and I believe did we get Kobe Wooden in the 2nd round? 3rd round. So he was another 3rd round pick. So Kobe Wooden we got in the 3rd round. So the idea with him is not to be a defensive end in our base 3-4 package. I just don't think with 79 strength, he has the strength, for that. He's more of when we go to our nickel and our dimes and we need a more traditional defensive end. He is more of that guy. Still has a lot, of improving to do. Power move 68, finesse move 73. But that's why we went ahead and took that chance at getting him. Only 22 years old, so very young still, could definitely develop. But DJ Dale's going to be the guy, especially in our base defense. He'll move to defensive tackle when we go into our nickels and dimes and things like that. We did get Carl Nassib. We did sign after the draft. Vita Vea is coming back. Wyatt's coming back. We did go ahead and sign Nathan Pickering. Now, maybe this was our second round pick. I knew it was one of these defensive guys was our other second round draft pick. No, third round pick. So Nathan Pickering is a third round pick. So we gotta figure out who the second round pick was, man. But we had a bunch of 2s and 3s. Like I said, we were just kind of trading down. It really wasn't a top heavy draft, more very deep. So we were trying to just accumulate as many picks this season. And like I said, we ended up with a first round pick next season, and we ended up with a second round pick next season. So we're already with 2 1s, 2 2s going into next year. That was kind of our strategy for this draft. But Pickering's a guy I think could potentially develop. Obviously, we have another young guy in Wyatt. Pickering is younger, so maybe he could get that nod if anything does happen, does have a little bit more strength. We don't plan on anything happening to Vita Vea, so hopefully, they don't get into the game, but we do get that added depth, and if somebody does get hurt, either DJ Dale or whoever it may be, we have Pickering who could come in. 6'4", 310, definitely like his size. Left outside linebacker position, Anthony Nelson's coming back, man. Really nothing there. At the linebacker spot, Devin White, Levante David. I think Levante David will just play in the base package this season. Like I said, I think Jacoby Stevens will end up coming in at our sub linebacker spot. We've been playing him there so far in preseason. It's been looking pretty solid. Shaq Barrett's going to be on one side. Jabril Cox is going to be on the other side. Jabril Cox, not really a pass rusher, more of your traditional 4-3 linebacker. That's why we drafted him, but he's so good at what he does in that 4-3 linebacker spot that we really just want him, still to stay on the field. In our base defense. I don't think he's going to play too much when we go nickel and dime once again, man. But Shaq Barrett definitely going to be on the field a lot. Getting up there in age, 30 years old. I believe with Shaq Barrett, we may have 2 years left on the deal. Yeah, so 2 years left on the deal. So he's with us the rest of the cycle, man. 'Cause remember, we have this season and next season, and that's it for this series, man. So that's it for this league. So Sean Murphy Bunting's back, Jamel Dean's back, Carlton Davis is back, our main guys. We did go ahead and get Rashad Williams, who was probably our worst pick, 6th round guy, man. We just took a shot in the dark. At that point, everybody we had scouted was basically gone. So we just took a chance here. Did not hit. We did not hit on them, but our 3 main guys, they're all back. So maybe we could try to get a 4th just in case something crazy happens. I'm not quite sure. Antoine Winfield is back. We have Mike Edwards, who is returning as well. Now, Jordan Whitehead is going to be the starting strong safety this season. I have faith in him. I think he'll do fine. Jacoby Stevens is going to be our sub linebacker, like I said. So he has star development. Maybe he could get superstar at some point if he has a great game. But the 88 speed, zone coverage is okay. Hit power at 80. Tackling 79. Even his pursuit play rec is definitely decent as well. Doesn't block shit, so he's not getting off blocks. But with that 71 catching, I think that he could definitely be a playmaker, in the middle of the field. So he will be a sub linebacker along with Devin White. Damani Richardson, this was the guy, man. I knew it was somebody on the defensive side that we got in the second round. And I think it's a good pick. So yeah, Damani Richardson, we got a guy at strong safety position. Just because we'll see how Jordan Whitehead ends up playing, but that 89 speed at the strong safety spot, something that is very intriguing to me. 73 zone coverage, so that's not bad. Maybe we could, dev that up a little bit. Tackling 76, hit power 75, his catching is a 66. So we will see. We will see. As of right now, I don't plan on starting him. He's going to play in the preseason and things like that. He might have an upgrade soon. Yeah, only 800 XP away. But Jordan Whitehead should be the guy for right now. And then we drafted a punter. And that was basically our offseason, man. We have Andre Smith back. But that's it, man. So, like, draft picks, like I said, we do have 2 1s and 2 2s. We have Cleveland's second round pick this year. It was 6. We'll see, where it falls next season. Then we have our pick. We have Buffalo, who are the Super Bowl champs. We have their second round pick and our second round pick. So both of these might be late. Hopefully Cleveland's is pretty early. But other than that, man, I think that's it. I think that is it for this episode. I don't think we have much else to show. I just wanted you guys to kind of see what we did in the offseason. Of course, this is preseason depth chart, so this is not the depth chart we are rolling with come week 1. Sam Howell has not played a snap in the preseason so far. We also have our running backs out. We also have our receivers out. We have played most of our starting line except for Ali Marpet. So we'll see how everything ends up happening this season. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this offseason video. It wasn't that, much stuff. We didn't make a lot of big splashes, more kind of just positioning ourselves for next year. Remember, we have so many guys we have to pay. We need to keep money, so we need to fill up this roster with as many cheap players as possible, because we are going to be signing blank checks like it's nobody's business this season, man. But let me know what you guys thought of this roster. I still think we have a solid team. Maybe not quite as good as last season losing Harrison Smith, but I do think we're still a very solid team across the board, and we could potentially still, compete to win this NFC South, compete to get back to the playoffs, hopefully do better than we did in season 1 and season 3, man. But we'll see what happens. You guys let me know you guys' thoughts of the offseason in the comment section below. It's your boy DLloyd. I'm see y'all next time. Peace.